same as before to anyone in the public. It would be strictly a question of Mr. Laurie at this time and his engineering site plan testimony.
I would like to ask Mr. Laurie a question, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Tom Curcio.
Sure, you can at this time, because you're asking a question. You don't need to be sworn in, but please don't testify to anything, just a question only.
Okay, Mr. Laurie, I don't see anything for any stormwater management plans for the property. What do you have planned for that?
Since the parking lot is existing gravel and we're below the thresholds for stormwater management according to the NJDP requirements, we are not requiring any, we are not proposing any stormwater management structures or anything of that nature.
I was at Mr. Cox's office on Friday and it was raining out, and that property in the back does not drain. It doesn't perk the slightest bit. It's compacted from cars driving on it, which is going to continue to happen anyway. So I think that you're going to have an issue with that being flooded all the time without any kind of stormwater recharge system.
You meant to say, wouldn't you agree?
And haven't you been there when you've seen that kind of water? Well,
I have.
No, I'm saying that we're helping you if you form a question for Mr. Laurie, because you'll be able to tell us that later. Asking
Yes.
questions right now.
Would you, have you seen that, Mr. Laurie?
I have not seen that, but we have proposed some grades along the some proposed grades along the existing parking area to provide some pitch to get it out to River Avenue.
Because I know in many of the buildings, I mean, you're, a question, I know I was required when I built my garage to do stormwater things. Jason and Aaron Shammy had to put recharge systems in the ground when they built their house. They don't want you to dump it out into the street so it goes into the storm drain and back into the river. They want it to get recharged into the ground. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Part of it now, we're proposing that 3-foot mulch area, and that could help to further recharge into the ground because that won't be as compacted as the gravel area.
Okay. Next question I have, you have that small area for the garbage and recycling. It showed 6 cans in there. I want to think that all of that use is going to be able to do 6 cans.
That's just a typical detail on the sheet. I can adjust that as previously testified to. It's approximately 3 cans that can fit in there.
We're not allowed to put bags out anymore. So the stores the 2 stores in the front are going to need to have cans to put their garbage out.
We have room each and every side of the property, as I previously testified to. We show 4 by 6. If the operations determines that it needs to be larger, we can certainly have room there to enlarge that, to provide more cans.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Laurie. It was good to see you.
Good to see you.
Anyone else from the public? Any questions?
I have a question.
Any question? Go ahead. It's a question from.
Yes, good evening. On the site plan, I didn't happen to, well, what I did notice was the existing fence called out, but I didn't see anything calling out existing trees or vegetation along that fence, along that property line. Some of those trees are probably 20 to 30 feet high. I think something in like that range. I wonder if it'd been considered, because they're utility running above, that aesthetically we might be exposing that, and that might be trees. If those trees don't remain, it seems like the planting, without calling that out, I'm not sure.
Mr. Laurie, I think the not sure part was the question.
Yes,
I would, we haven't located the trees on the property line to see which ones we can save and which ones we can't. We can certainly locate them, and I'll review with the applicant on which ones, if we can save trees. We will be putting in that new wall, which is 12 feet high, so I'm not sure how that's gonna, what we can save and what we can't.
sure. It's just hard to tell. With the existing fence, it seems like a lot of the trees I'm thinking of are on the south side of the fence, which would be on the Gottlieb property, but then they would also be aesthetically viewed from both sides. So that was my question. Okay, thank you.
I think right now it's safe to say that any trees that are on your property, Mr. Lurie, in order for the parking lot to function, as well as for you to get in your separation wall, it doesn't seem like you're planning on keeping any of that. Is that correct?
That is correct. We'd have to look at a tree by tree basis to see if there was anything we could.
Anyone else from the board or public with any questions of Mr. Lurie?
Sir, I have one question.
Go right ahead.
I just wanted to know if the parking lot's gonna be open to the public.
State your name, spell your last name.
Daniel Dykeman, DEICHMAN.
Thank you. You may proceed.
I just wanted to know, sir, if the parking lot's gonna be open to the public.
We can answer that. No, they're designated spots for the hotel and the businesses below it. So they're not open to the public. It'll have signage or something that would deter people from pulling in there and telling that it's private property.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. This is our ding ding time, because we're not gonna bring Ms. Cafone on with 7 minutes before 10. Our planning testimony is probably our lengthiest and most important, although everything that we've heard is important, but the planning testimony is gonna certainly weigh heavily on what we need to hear next. So, Karen, I think we looked at this a little bit, I think, and discussed. We're in our first meeting after the reorganization meeting. So we're looking at what, January 20th potentially or something?
Well, we could put it on a reorganization meeting, I mean, if you'd like to. So it would either be January 7th for the reorganization, or it would be January 21st.
My client is, this is a critical thing, that this building is an open building. He really wants to get this going.
In January 7th.
Way that we can get sooner date than that.
Are you I told you, if you move your applicant, if you move your applicant that you have scheduled for December 17th off that application, they can go on that night. Otherwise, it's January 7th.
I don't have the ability to do that. I can't tell one client if they're bounced off the hearing for another. I'd like to schedule for that. That is a single family house. I think a good time to be devoted to this. And it does affect, this is an important application for downtown. Really, I'm sorry.
On closing, I'll just comment that.
I'm sorry.
Who is speaking?
Who's speaking?
Who is talking? Who is talking? Who is talking?
I don't, as I was saying, Mr. Chairman, this is an important project to the downtown. We have, a lot of people who are looking forward to this application. And, we would like to have that meeting where we just have a single family home on bungalow district. I think a good portion of, we might be able to finish this that night.
Well,
All that home is on Danby Place. It's a revisit to that application from the two sisters they've resubmitted. And last time it took.
yeah, I mean, that an application like that on Danby Place and the bungalows for us is an easy hour and a half meeting. I mean, those don't go quick. We know that.
So
So
if we get an hour and a half in, we might have some time left for this.
How
Might
about
be
a
able to get
special meeting? How about a special meeting, Mr. Chairman?
I know there's some schedule conflicts with, I know Karen's away for a while and, it's the end of the year and we're getting to the holidays. So I'm deferring to Ms.
Let me
Mills'
ask-
first management of the schedule. She does this.
I had
Yes.
discussions with everybody about this, so we're just repeating something else I've already discussed, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. That's why I say the 7th is fine. Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, let's find out, Mr. Liston, when are you available?
Available, the 7th of January
Okay,
and the 21st.
and the 21st. So, you know what?
That,
I don't know.
They could have both meetings, we're gonna need both.
Crashing in, listen, we've had a long year. This has been a really rough year. We're coming into the holidays. We got Thanksgiving and Christmas, and our favorite secretary is not available for a couple of days, and she's really entitled to not be here. We could proceed without her, but it's not sensible. I think under all the circumstances, I think January 7th is fair, and we could complete this on the 7th, and if we can't, we'll carry it to the 21st. How's that sound, John?
Sounds good to me. Is the opposition architect good for January 7th?
John, Stousie?
Yes,
We can check that right now.
I'm good for January 7th.
And Christie.
21st, John.
Yes.
Awesome.
Ms.
You need more
Cafone,
work, John.
is Ms. Cafone good for those dates?
Yes, good for January 7th. January 21st, I actually have a live hearing in Woodbridge, but we'll worry about that as we get closer. January 7th definitely works though, so.
I think we're covering you on the 7th, so we
Okay.
should be good with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Have a nice holiday, everybody.
Oh, you too.
Thank you.
So,
All right, so let's get a motion to carry this to January 7th without further notice.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pizzola, second by Mr. Kelly to carry application 2025 of EAF1 LLC, 641 Arnold Avenue to January 7th, 2021.
Wow,
Can you believe that? Mr.
that's
Kelly?
scary.
Yes, I know. We want to see 2020 go though. Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
yes.
Secretary Snyder?
Yes.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzola?
Yes.
Mr. Loader? George? You're muted, George.
can nod. He's in his,
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Okay, and Chairman Strunches.
yes.
Application carried.
George, you're too colorful to be muted.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good
night.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Night, happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Happy holidays, right?
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.